Hey, I forgot to mention the part where, after Cott opened the sink, there was a hair doll. Did I say opened the sink? So yeah, he opened the sink and there was a hair doll. And, that scared the fuck out of him, so he ran away. And then there was another video that he didn't remember happening where, he ran around and then he got drunk. Kind of like this. And he stumbled around for a little bit. But he didn't actually get drunk. He got weird and sleepy. And, but it was kind of like he was drunk. So he stumbled around for a little bit, and then there was writing all over his arms, and music. Wait. Did I get it backwards? I think I got it backwards. Screw it. I don't know which one happened first. I have to go back and look. It's been a little while, so I may have gotten some things flipped backwards. Why was I talking about the sink when... Wait a minute, when did the sink thing happen? I think I may have gotten it backwards. I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know. I would go check, but we're not supposed to cut things out. Fuck you guys. But I love you. Oh hey look! Flash is crashing. What else happened after all that shit? Did the sink happen first? Or did... Anyway, I've wasted 2 minutes of your time wondering which happened first. I forgot where I was. So, after all that stuff happened, I guess butterflies happened. I should have did some research first, because I remember how it happened, but I can't really articulate it very well right now. So butterflies happened, and then Cott decided to take Natalie with him to the place, which was 925 Cranbrook Drive. I did remember that. And, he showed up at Natalie's house, and she was like, "What the fuck are you doing at my house and petting my dog for?" And he was like, "'Cause I like to pet dogs." "No, we're going to this place, because this is what the music video said." My baby takes the morning train. That's how the song goes. Shit. So, they were walking along, and then he mentioned, some guy on stilts. And they were talking about, like, whether it was a Slender series or whether it was real. And Cott was like, "Please don't insult me." And so she was like, "Okay, but there's a kitty." And Cott petted the kitty. And then they went into 925, and at first it was Natalie's house for some reason, and Cott got mad because he was all the way back at Natalie's house, and he thought that she was involved. So he got, like, mad. And it seemed like he was gonna kick her ass, but he didn't actually kick her ass because he's a nice guy and he doesn't hit girls. So then they were in a room and someone's bra was sitting on the television. And that's kind of gross. That's not where you put that. Was it on the television or was it just kind of around? It doesn't really matter about the bra. The point was there were televisions in there, and the puppets came up on the television screen, and they told him to look for the thing. And they kept telling him to look for the thing, and he couldn't find the thing, and they were like, "Oh, the thing's over there." And then he was like, "Okay, the thing's over here," and they're like, "No, I'm just kidding." And he was like, "Fuck you." And they're like, "Okay, the thing's over there. Yeah, you found it." And then he found the thing. And it was a journal, and then he left, and then Natalie was stuck in the room with the puppets, and then the puppet ripped his face off, because he's a fucking asshole, and he can rip his face off. And, then Cott came back, and he was like, "Why are you still in here?" And she was like, "Oh my god, get out!" And then she left with Cott. because that room was dangerous and puppets are scary. They break ankles. What happened? I don't know what happened after the journal thing. Shit, what happened after the journal thing? Oh yeah, Lansing. I think Lansing happened after the journal thing, and butterflies and stuff, and then, Helper sent out a bunch of things saying that he wanted to tell people a story, and I specifically remember, what was that person's name? My Dirt Journal's answer to that was yes. And then he gave him the story, and then the story was code, and I don't know the code. To this day, I still don't really remember how it was solved. I think it was a math problem. I'm really fucking glad Helper never gave me a math problem, because I would have been proper fucked about that. Anyway, I suck at math. So then he went to Lansing because he was filming himself sleepwalking. Because people suggested he should film himself. That's what happened, I think. And, I am proper fucked. And then, Cott went to the place. He went to Lansing Place. And there were a bunch of rooms, and they had to do with Winnie the Pooh. So he said Winnie the Pooh things when people told him to say Winnie the Pooh things, because Helper made a bunch of poems about Winnie the Pooh, because he has to make everything dark, and he made Winnie the Pooh dark, and that's pretty metal. And, God, this is going to be more than 2 parts. So, Helper was in Lansing, and he grabbed him from behind and saved him from Slendy after Slendy was in the hallway. And then people were like, wow, maybe Helper isn't so bad a guy. Or maybe he is, but he doesn't like Slendy. And then there was the Showtime killer in the room with the boat. But he wasn't actually in there. It was just a radio broadcast about Showtime killer. And people heard it, and I don't know why it was playing in that room. So yeah, that happened, and people found out that he was a thing. So that was on their plates, and then Roivas said he wanted to kill butterflies, and that's wrong. And then Cott got out of the room because Christopher Robin. And when he got out of the room, he saw a cage. And after that, he saw a door in the woods. And then Slendy came out of the door because Slendy is an asshole. And he opens doors. And then Cott was like, but I have a jar because Helper gave it to me. And he gave it to him with the doll. And shit, I may have overdone it a little bit. Okay, so then Sunday was like boogada boogada. And then Cott was like, no, I have a jar. And then Sunday was like, well, fuck you. And then he left. And then there was a flashback sequence. And in the flashback sequence, there were rats, and they were cute, and Cott was happy, and he had a really cool Eeyore jacket. No, not Eeyore jacket. Why did I say Eeyore? Ernie, not Eeyore. He had a really cool Ernie jacket, and Anna wants it. But she's gonna have to get her own, because she can't have it. Unless they decide that she can have it. And then they were giggling and snorting, and then the flashback was over. And then later, Cott was really cool, and he shaved his head. and he had a nice coat, and he was smoking cigarettes, and Natalie was like, what the fuck are you smoking cigarettes for? That's bad for you. And then Cot was like, 'cause I smoke, leave me alone. And then they walked to the place that Rose told them to go, and when we got there, there was an umbrella, and it wasn't supposed to help him, but he used it anyway. And then it caught on fire, and what kind of umbrella catches on fire in the rain? So then he rage quit. And then, I think butterfly shit happened. And then, Natalie tried to talk to him, but he wasn't answering and stuff. And she went to his apartment, and he was like, quit it. Stop it. And they left the room, and then a puppet was on the television in the room, on the same television that Chewie was on, and Chewie finds that kind of freaky. And then the puppet got free, and then he made the chair have smoke in it. And then they were like, what the fuck? And then Cot was like, well, stop though. And she was like, well, I'm going to Willow's Peak because the umbrella told me to. So she went to Willow's Peak, and then Scott was there with his bag head, and he was like, rawr. And she was like, oh shit, Scott. But I don't know you're Scott yet. I just know you're a guy with a tree. Oh, and she also pulled a fairy jar out of a hole that had blood in it, because Roy was told her to. Or rather, she told Cot to, because he didn't want to do it, so she got the fairy jar, because she's metal like that. And then Scott happened, because he had a bag head, and Scott had a tape with him whenever she saw the dead body, so she got the tape, and then Cot showed up, and she was like, no, go away, wait, I need a hug, so they hugged it out, and, god damn, it's taking forever. So, they hugged it out, and then Cot was palling around with the butterflies in the tiny shots, so I've heard. And I think a rat followed him home at one point. And then after they finally figured out what was on the Willow's Peak tank, he was like, fuck you guys, y'all are scary, y'all have glowy red eyes. And everybody was like, but we don't have glowy red eyes, they're blue. Because Natty doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. They were blue. And then there was a giant blue eye. And then we saw Helper gunning Scott, because Scott pulled a gun, but I can't tell you about that part yet. And some people think it's not Helper, some people think it might be somebody else, but like everything screams that it was totally Helper doing the thing. And so I'm gonna say it was Helper doing the thing, because he pulled a gun, and he shouldn't have done that. And, so yeah, that was on the Willow's Peak tape with all of our glowy blue red eyes, and, our eyes were never red, goddammit. And I wasn't on there because I wasn't around yet. So Roy was like, well, go get tools from the alley, and then Cot was like, no, y'all are weird. And Natalie was like, okay, let's go get these tools from the alley. And Cot was like, no. And, I forgot the part where Natalie got the message about the butterflies in the first place. So that happened, like, when Lansing stuff was happening, but let's move on. So, this is actually turning out more sad than funny. I hope y'all know that. So, what? Oh, yeah. So, Scott was like, no, I'm not going there. And Natalie was like, we gotta go to the place. And then they heard screaming in the woods, and then Cot was like, call somebody. And so he ran into the woods to go find out what the screaming was, and Slendy was there. And Slendy bitch slapped the fuck out of him. A bunch. And he got bitch slapped. And he was like, haha, you can't take me though. But his mind got put in the dark place,